Look at what just happened at the epicenter of U.S. military power in the Gulf tonight. Because this is no longer a proxy skirmish, this is a direct, total offensive. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has officially announced they have rained down a firestorm of missiles and drones directly targeting the U.S. Army Airbase in the Sheikh Isa area of Bahrain. Tehran asserts they unleashed a swarm of 20 suicide drones coordinated with 3 ballistic missiles, creating a complex tsunami attack. The specific target was the command building and central headquarters of the base, the very nerve center overseeing all U.S. air operations in this vital region. And here is the fatal point. Iran claims the facility has been completely destroyed, with strategic fuel tanks set ablaze, sending towering plumes of fire and black smoke hundreds of meters into the sky. Shocking images circulating on social media show a gruesome scene covering the capital, Manama. While Washington and Manama have yet to provide official confirmation on the extent of the damage, reports from the ground confirm multiple continuous explosions echoing throughout the city. Tonight, the U.S. defense shield in the Gulf has been ruthlessly pierced, and the message from Tehran is crystal clear. No U.S. base, no matter how heavily fortified, is indestructible. The chaos spreading outside the barbed wire fences of the military bases, because Bahrain tonight faces not only missiles from the sky, but also a violent surge within its own society. Parallel to the IRGC strikes, pro-Iran protests have erupted fiercely across the corners of the kingdom. This is the dangerous second layer of the variable, the rise of pro-Tehran forces right in the nation that hosts the United States Fifth Fleet. Reports indicate protesters have hurled Molotov cocktails directly at police vehicles, while security forces responded with thick volleys of tear gas to attempt to regain control. This unrest is not accidental. It appears orchestrated to paralyze Bahrain's internal response capacity at the exact moment their military must focus entirely on the skies. And here's the fatal point that Washington deeply fears: a pincer attack from both inside and out. As military bases burn from Iranian drones and streets are set ablaze by civil unrest, the Bahraini government is placed in an extreme dilemma. This is no longer merely a military strike from the outside. It is a hybrid campaign aimed at toppling the stability of one of America's most vital allies in the Middle East. Tonight in Manama, the line between the battlefield and residential areas has been completely erased, turning this island nation into a literal powder keg that could detonate at any moment. The expanding scale of the battlefield tonight, because Iran's pincer movement is not only tightening around Bahrain, but is also aimed directly at the heart of the Saudi Arabian kingdom. The Saudi Ministry of Defense has just confirmed a large-scale attack, as their air defense forces had to intercept and destroy at least 8 suicide drones heading straight for the capital, Riyadh, and the strategic military city of Al-Kharj. These are no longer minor harassments. This is a calculated effort to paralyze the nerve centers of America's closest ally in the Gulf. The United States Embassy in Riyadh was the direct target of at least 2 drone strikes. This is an extremely dangerous diplomatic red line. Although officials describe the damage as limited, with a small fire at a building within the complex, the political message behind it is invaluable. When Iranian unmanned aerial vehicles can reach and fire upon the highest U.S. diplomatic mission in the heart of the Saudi capital, it means that not a single square meter in this region can be considered an absolute safe zone. And here is the bottom line. Targeting diplomatic facilities alongside military bases shows that Iran is executing a total strike strategy. They don't just want to destroy the adversary's firepower. They want to send a thunderous warning to the Donald Trump administration that the price of supporting Israel will be the safety of every American official in the Middle East. Tonight, as air defense systems in Riyadh remain on high alert, the world is witnessing a brutal reality. From air bases to diplomatic offices, every symbol of American power in the Gulf is now in the crosshairs of Tehran's relentless waves of attack. This war is expanding faster than any diplomatic effort can contain. The shift in Iran's leadership structure tonight, because the death of the supreme leader did not create the power vacuum Washington had expected. Instead, It has propelled the most hardline figures, like Ali Larijani, head of the Supreme National Security Council, into direct operational control. In a series of defiant messages, Larijani extinguished any flickering hope for a diplomatic solution with a cold assertion: "We will not negotiate with the United States." The Long War. Larijani declared that, unlike the United States, which often grows impatient with distant conflicts, Iran has prepared its psyche and resources for a war of attrition spanning years. He directly mocked Donald Trump, accusing the U.S. president of betraying his own America First doctrine in favor of an Israel First policy. According to Larijani, Trump is throwing American lives and money into a furnace solely to serve Tel Aviv's ambitions. Larijani utilized Trump's own signature all-caps writing style to warn that the White House's delusions will lead to an extensive and unnecessary war, where American casualties will be an unavoidable cost. Iran is invoking its resilient history, comparing this conflict to the Mongol invasions to prove they will never surrender. Tonight, as Larijani rejects every overture for dialogue, he has sent an unmistakable message to Trump. The diplomatic door has been slammed shut and bolted with iron chains. This war will not end with a handshake at a negotiating table. It will be decided by which side can endure the pain longer in the spreading flames of the Middle East. Look at the big picture we have deconstructed tonight, because this conflict has officially moved far beyond any initial containment scenarios. We are no longer talking about a localized clash. We are witnessing a battlefield expanding across at least 6 countries and the world's vital maritime corridors. From Bahrain and Saudi Arabia to Israel, Iraq, Cyprus, and strategic waters, Iran's firepower is attempting to prove that no bunker is absolutely safe for American interests. Iran has shed the image of a nation in mourning to become a total war entity. When Ali Larijani declared a long war, he was sending a message to the White House that Tehran is willing to sacrifice everything to drag Washington into a quagmire of attrition that Americans have always feared. This is not just a war of missiles and drones. It is a war of will and endurance, where the line between victory and defeat is decided by each nation's capacity to endure pain. And folks, here is the final bottom line. The next phase of this conflict may be even more dangerous. As diplomatic channels are slammed shut and vows of revenge become national doctrine, we are standing on the threshold of a collapse of the global security order. Washington's silence following strikes on embassies or air bases is not a sign of calm, but a sign of a larger storm taking shape. Tonight, the Middle East is not only burning because of fuel tanks in Bahrain, it is burning because of the collapse of the last hopes for peace.